Hi, I'm Abby, and we're going to be exploring a very interesting intellectual conversation about Satan today. And I'm going to start with a drink of coffee. I wanted to make this relaxing and comfortable and expressive of what it's like to be a psychic, an interdimensional being, because I'm not a human being, I'm an interdimensional being. And to explore the concept of what Satan is on an interdimensional level of what is love, what is chaos, what it is to be human, where this concept comes from on a spiritual level. Not a religious level, a spiritual level. Religious levels tell us the one way and the only way it needs to be. And you got to do this, and then you got to do that, and you have to follow these other steps, and then you can be saved. Then you can be accepted, then you can be correct. I'm not talking about religion here. I'm talking about open-mindedness. I'm talking about an infinite universe of possibilities and explorations of self. Life is about explorations of self. So, yesterday I had a very interesting session, okay? And the session goals were actually to break down ego through working with Kali Ma. And I don't know Kali Ma. I've heard that name before. It comes from an Indiana Jones movie. I believe it's the second one. Kali Ma Shaktive. And then they reach their hand in and take the guy's heart out, and then they show everybody. I thought, well, this will be interesting. I'm not going to go do any hunting or digging because I like to keep it really, whatever happens, happens. And I want to learn about it from my own perspective. Fear. All right. So Satan is fear. We're all afraid of Satan. What if we found out that Satan is also us? So when you look in the mirror, what looks back at you is what? Yourself. And what are you exactly? What if you are everything? What if you are Jesus? What if you are Aphrodite? What if you are Gandalf the Grey? What if you are Harry Potter? What if you are also Satan? And what if you are everything? The truth is you are everything. I'm everything. We're all everything. So what is it to be a single individual human being if we are already everything walking around on planet Earth? We're all universes walking around. And then we're all part of God, which means we're all God. I am God, you are God. We are also Satan. Because what is God? What is Satan? God is all love and all chaos. But chaos is illusion. Illusion, a tool to help us conquer ourselves and access greater levels of love. So is Satan a bad thing? Well, in this session, I got to visit Kali Ma. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Would you like to know what I got myself into? It was dark. It was very dark and demented. Kali Ma came around a corner, like a black wave of energy, like a ribbon, and then came up to me and showed me man, all right? Reflection of mankind, man. Showed me man, and then how man, I'm going to put this down because I need to use my hand. So Kali Ma was strangling man, all right? And man was trying to scream, but couldn't get the scream out. And the legs were, kicking because Kali Ma's holding man above the ground. And she squeezes man so hard that his head pops off. And she just throws the body into a pile. And I was like, okay, Kali Ma, so you like to create organized piles of bodies and heads. Like, what am I supposed to make of this? I mean, it was dark. It was freaking dark. So anything that's dark, if you can find a joke and make it lighthearted, it really helps. So Kali Ma took me on a journey, and it was fascinating, and I learned so much. And it was a journey in my own suffering, which my own suffering is also Kali Ma's suffering. But Kali Ma is the suffering itself. Kali Ma is the evil of the world, is the gift of the gun and the weapon and the war, is the gift of the greed, is the gift of all the illusions, the shattered mirror. Kali Ma is that. And so as I was going through this journey, Kali Ma was actually confronting me in ways that were challenging me. So I'm standing and trying to make sense of this because I'm trying to bring the client in order to break down ego. And Kali's mom is like, well, if your client wants to come talk to me, then your client needs to just come to me directly. I'm going to break you down. That's what Kali Ma is like. So, but I was open-minded and I was willing to explore the meaning of this message, which I was so profoundly transformed by this. It's so important. I didn't realize that Kali Ma was like a female reflection of Satan. It started to become clearer and clearer because I was trying to look for a bright light, a spark of love, and I was actually trying to heal this frequency. But it wasn't healable because I have to heal myself in order to heal Kali Ma. And how do you heal yourself? You're going to spend your lifetime healing yourself. So we just got to keep working on ourselves and just do the best that we can. But that's Jesus. That's Jesus. Heal thyself. That's Jesus, right? Oh, Kali Ma, if I want to try and heal her, which I tried, I just focused on healing this wounded pain of suffering within her essence, which I discovered was the human, which was humanity. I discovered was the gun, was the knife, was all of this. But I also discovered it was my pain, my suffering, which I also discovered was everybody's suffering. And Kali Ma had come to me and asked me personally, you want me to come into you so I can help you break down ego to me. And obviously I have this sort of like enraged demonic female energy. And I mean, I don't want to define her as demonic because demonic is broken. Kali Ma is not broken. Kali Ma is chaos. All right. Kali Ma, it just simply is chaos. Is chaos broken? Broken things can be fixed, right? But what if the energy is exactly as it is meant to be, and therefore it doesn't need to be anything more than this? The snake will always be the snake, The rabbit will always be the rabbit. Are they broken things because the snake has venom, can bite you, poison you, and kill you? Is it a broken thing, or is it just what it is? So this sort of intense energy is in front of me, asking if I will allow Kali Ma in to help me break down my ego. And I said, no, you don't need to enter into me, Kali Ma. You are already me and I am already you. And if I can acknowledge that, you're already a part of my heart. You're already part of all my divine essence. And if that is the truth, then what does that say about the concept of Satan? What does that say? Do you see what I'm talking about here? So I am just as much Satan and Jesus and Kali Ma and Buddha and Mother Teresa and Archangel Lucifer and Archangel Michael and Archangel Josephine and all these archangels. I'm everything. I'm all the alien beings. I'm all the humans. I'm everything. So what do I do with that, right? Anyway, I kept standing my ground here, and in this journey, which was for me and the client too, we were learning so much together, because the client was me. So I could bring in that, Kali Ma, the client is here because the client is me also. And I'm going to stand against you and I'm going to say no to this. And I'm going to trust in my own intuition. I'm going to trust in my own heart and soul that I know what it is that I desire and who I am and my identity. You see, if I don't stand strong in what I believe is my truth, then I can be broken down, right? But is that a bad thing? Is being broken down a bad thing? That's kind of the whole point of this. So there was some amazing wisdom that went through this session, which the session is confidential and private, but to discuss it is so valuable, to precious information here for the human race. And the journey was long. It was an hour long. And as I was trying to understand these things, I was asking Kali Ma about some of the things that I hate, all right? And so what I hate, then, I can't hate Kali Ma. Why I cannot actually hate Satan. I can't hate, period. I want to know, what do you think about that? Do you feel that you have a right to hate? What if you're being what if you're, a child, like 8 years old, taken away on your walk to school by some twisted psycho, thrown on a torture bed and tortured for 2 weeks, and then you died? Do you feel like you would have a right to hate in that experience? That experience is Kali Ma. That experience is Satan. Because whatever breaks us down, whatever traumatizes us, whatever torments us is Satan. So should we hate Satan? Because if we hate Satan, we hate ourselves. How do we ascend beyond this concept? How do we conquer this? So I was showing Kali Ma what was one of my alien past lives, that I struggle with alien past lives. And these alien past lives get in the way of me being able to feel safe, communicating with alien beings, although I know I'm safe. I mean, I talk to Kali Ma. I mean, I know I'm safe, but I still have that feeling in my heart and behind me, an uncomfortable feeling. But if I just live and I just ignore the uncomfortable feeling, and I just don't pursue that which I want to pursue, so communicating with alien beings, I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to face this. That's not good enough for me. I have to keep facing what makes me vulnerable, what makes me uncomfortable, because I want to conquer this human paradigm, this human thing. And it's all about fear. It's all about fear. And how you get twisted up in fear is all Kali Ma. So what is beyond Kali Ma? What is beyond Satan? It's ascended human race. But how do we get there? If I don't keep working on facing my fears, then how do I expect anybody else to in this world? And the only way the human race is actually going to ascend is if we keep facing our fears. We have to keep facing our fears. And those are our internal demons. Those are our Kali Mas. Those are our satanic nightmares, okay? That doesn't mean Satan is evil. It's just simply a frequency of challenge. And we just decided to name it Satan. You know, we could name it Ted if we wanted to. No offense to Teds out there. We can name it Abby. If we wanted to, we could name it whatever we want to name it. We decided to name it Satan. Santa backwards. Isn't it Santa backwards? I swear it is. I heard that from somewhere. Okay. So back to this. So I was showing her the specific past life. I have really vulnerable issues with psychological torture, okay? And I had a lifetime on another planet, and I was having a wonderful experience, and it was kind of akin to Earth in a way, but it was more like accessing technological advancements, but it was really harmonious, and we were living in really tall buildings and things like this. Anyway, there was an awareness of a vulnerability coming to the planet, but that everybody was going to be okay. So we just lived out the rest of our day, and that night there was these loud cracking noises, and buildings were cracking, and basically there was huge spaceships that came, and we were all sort of transformed into light and brought upon the spaceships and put into containers. And the containers were hooked up to what was a psychologically disturbing program, okay? And these alien beings were chaos, all right? So you have human beings that are chaotic too. We call them psychopaths. But is that appropriate? We need to know ourselves. We need to know ourselves, and we need to stop labeling things. We need to go deeper than this, because I want to live in a world full of wisdom, enlightenment, respect, deeper understanding, compassion. I want to know something deeper. All right. So this psychological program was sort of, they were feeding off of these foul energies that we were emitting, and we were just being farmed for psychological torture. Isn't that kind of planet Earth in a way? Anyway, this program would go on and on and on until I died. I didn't even know I died. My part of my soul was still living in that program, and the program was basically to take me through sequences of scenes. And one of the scenes, for instance, was there was nothing left of the planet except me and a few others. And we were walking through the desert trying to find life. And this scene, we would take a break, and then we would come back, and it would be the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. And while I'm in some sort of sleep state, but this is horrifying. How am I supposed to feel comfortable talking to alien beings with this awareness and buried in the seed within my soul, you know? And that is that Satan to you? It's another planet. So does Satan exist on other planets? Does Kali Ma exist on other planets? So anyway, I was showing Kali Ma this, and she was talking to me about hate, and if I hated those alien beings. And she was reminding me of how we're all part of each other. And what can I not accept about this lifetime? And I say, well, I can't accept the suffering. I can't accept the mind fuck suffering experience How can anybody comprehend that? That's why the human race wants to exit the matrix and be done with this, because it's too hard sometimes, right? We got to find a way to find the joy, you know? That's the challenge, facing Satan and finding the joy in that experience, you know? Let's have a cup of coffee and talk about the concept of Satan. We got to make this interesting. We got to make it interesting. Plus, I need something to just make this more relaxing for me, because I know it's a vulnerable conversation and people don't like to talk about it. But I need to talk about it. That's what I'm here for, is to create opportunities for people to think for themselves. You can take this however you want. So I had to take some time here with Kali Ma to really explore this. And I just, as a human being, I don't know that I have the capacity to be accepting of those types of things. It's just too hard. And that's okay too. And in the awareness that that's okay too, the fact that I'm willing to look at it, the fact that I'm willing to talk to Kali Ma, which is the female side of Satan, was really clearly what she was. You know, it made me feel better. Actually, it helped me to accept that some lives are going to be really confusing and hard, and they're not going to make any sense, and then you're going to die. And there's going to be lives that are absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. And all of these are opportunities to experience love, to conquer the self, to gain understanding and perspective of an experience. Not everybody is going to relate to what that torture, psychological torture, is like. I relate to it. I've had experiences of it, very brief ones in this lifetime. And you can heal alien beings that aren't aware of how that they're sort of researching or studying the human mind. And you can go back to them and communicate with them and say, I don't appreciate this, and I am not choosing to receive this any further. I've had a time just for a few nights where there was some bluish colored beings. And every time I would fall asleep, it was like a dream. I was in a dream state, and there were sequences of events, and I'd have to, it was all about fear, facing fear and how I would face fear, but it's also exploring my relationship with time. So every time I would face another obstacle of fear, I would see the clock, and it would be like 11 o'clock, and then the scene would change, and I'd go into another like sequence of fear-based challenges. And then if I could face that fear, then I would see that the time was still 11 o'clock, and I became more and more confused that the time was still 11 o'clock, and what is going on here? It was horrible. I will just say it was horrible. But that's been resolved, all right? Weird stuff happens, but we as interdimensional beings have a choice and a right to communicate with other interdimensional beings. So, I've learned a lot in my life about a lot of things. And at the end of this Kali Ma experience, I was talking to her about the concept of Lucifer, which I actually have a very close and loving relationship with Lucifer. Now, Lucifer is not the devil. Lucifer is quite bright and beautiful. And as the years have passed, which I've gotten to know Lucifer for about 3 years now, let's just say. And as the years have passed, I've been seeing him getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And I swear, as the human race ascends, in love and compassion and open-mindedness to each other and support, Lucifer gets brighter, because we've been blaming Lucifer for all of our problems. But if we can start working on ourselves and stop putting the blame in other places, and then we can all ascend together. Lucifer gets brighter. Well, Lucifer was there, and Kali Ma, you know, was this sort of like they aren't of the same breed, all right? They aren't. But there was similarities between them. And so I was kind of checking into Lucifer as like the satanic side of Lucifer, and it was like, man, that is just so dark. It is so dark. How do we heal the darkness of this world? How do we heal Satan? How do we heal ourselves? Do you see what this conversation is about? This is not about religion. Religion will take this video and this message and tell me I need to go confess my sins and go to church every day. Because people don't want to hear it. La 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 la. Can't hear you, you know? That's because you don't want to. That's because you don't want to go deeper inside yourself. That's because you'd rather just chalk it up to something you read in the Bible. I'm so sick of that. I just want people to start choosing to open up to depth. It's so much more interesting. So after that session, I was so transformed by the meaning of everything. And it really reiterated the value of being at peace with everything on our planet and the choices of everybody, and to be at peace with everything. I mean, everything, everybody, be at peace, you know? And it's a Christ consciousness nature. So what is beyond Satan is Christ consciousness. But we can't go beyond Satan by ignoring Satan. We go beyond Satan by choosing to look that pain and suffering in the eyes and say, I don't want you to hurt anymore. And put the guns down. Stop supporting movements of terror. That's supporting saying, Kali Ma, yes. Satan, yes. And how is Lucifer going to get brighter and brighter if we continue to go back to the old ways? The human race hasn't changed much. We just kind of break down the society and build the same new one with just maybe a little bit different shapes of buildings, different ideas of what advancement looks like. It's all the same cycle. So I'm just going to pause for a moment because there's a little bit more to the story, and I was trying to decide if I would tell you it or not, because it seems like it's going away from the story, but it does bring us back into it. All right, so I'm going to tell you that last night, and this is quite normal for me because I have interesting experiences in the middle of the night, but last night I woke up and I noticed my eyes were bothering me. And since I'm a healer, I do energy work on myself. And I don't often do energy work on my eyes, and I'm not sure why. I don't, because I have light sensitivity issues. And the older I get, the more I'm noticing my eyes are getting dry. And I'm learning that the more we work with computers, the less we're blinking. And so we're having more issues, the human race having more issues with dry eyes. So anyway, I decided to do some energy work on my eyes, and I was surprised by how much pressure my eyes are under. And that pressure was sort of interconnected with my mind and my throat and my heart and my emotional gut. How in the world was my eyes connected to all these things, and what did it mean? There was all this pressure stored up behind my eyes. It's an infinite, our spiritual atmosphere is an infinite space. So it seems like, the head is only like this big or whatever, but it's like an infinite space. So I can have a lot of stuff behind my eyes that I haven't gotten to yet. Anyway, with this pressure buildup, I was releasing. In the process of doing this, Kryon shows up. Kryon, you can search Kryon on YouTube, you'll find Kryon, no problem. So Kryon is an amazing consciousness that I absolutely adore, and Kryon's been a huge part of my life for approximately 3 years, let's just say. And anyway, I talk to Kryon a lot. He's my spirit friend, my alien friend, my interdimensional friend, let's put it that way. So he shows up and he just puts his arms around me and just starts taking me upward. And I was like, wow, thank you. This is nice. It feels really good. Wherever you're taking me is feeling warmer and brighter and brighter. I was looking down at where I was like, man, I was a long way down there, Kryon. And we go up so high. We're reaching the edge of the universe. And I'm going to tell you this. You can think whatever you want, but my experience of the edge of the universe, you could keep going up, but you'll actually go in a curvature. So when you reach the edge of the universe, the experience of going upward is actually curving around. Because to me, my experience of the universe is that it is spherical, all right? I can talk about flat dimensions that become interdimensions, all right? So if you want to talk about flat earth theory and all this other stuff, we can go there. But in this physical, dense physical reality, our concept of physicality is spherical. There's a lot of spherical energies and meanings in the geometry of the creation of our universe. So that's how I experienced it. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, so he was taking me on a curvature. I was like, Kryon, I don't want to go on the curvature of this universe. I want to go beyond this universe. And it was just getting more and more heavenly, because when you go upward as a human being, you know, our concept of going upward is also going to higher vibrations of love, so to speak. So I just work with that because that's the concept we're used to. So, and it makes sense to my human nature. So the more he was taking me upward, the more I felt interdimensionally connected to heavenly spaces. And I was looking back at how low I actually was vibrationally. And now there's a bridge between one universe and another universe, and it's consciousness, all right? Consciousness. We're more consciousness than we are body, all right? That's the truth. You're more consciousness than you are body. So this is the part of the story where I looked back and I said, Kalima, and I basically honored and respected her essence and her purpose and her meaning. And I bowed to her and I told her, thank you for everything you shared with me, but I'm okay letting go of your essence, because I really want to nurture my experience of what love and heaven feels like to me. She smiled at me and waved, and everything just disconnected, and we entered into a new universe of love. And I was exploring what that meant to me, how human ascension relates to this concept, letting go of Satan because we want to explore a version of love that is heavenly. How are we as a human race going to let go of Kalima, the pain and suffering and wounds within us, the choice to pick up that gun and blow somebody's brains out? How can we become bigger than this? How can we become Christ consciousness or Buddha or however you want to define it? How can we go there? Well, I already made a personal choice to go there. And that's not me not choosing to accept that I'm human and I live in this dimensional space and Kali Ma is a part of all of our experiences. But I can also simply choose to just want to nurture the experience. My consciousness choose to want to nurture the experience of heaven. But to do it on a deep level of self-reflection and understanding of what I've been choosing and what I now want to choose, because I'm tired of suffering and dark stuff. I'm sick of it. I want happiness. One thing I want to tell you to finalize this whole conversation. Kali Ma said that she is a light worker. Satan is a light worker. What does that mean to you? Do you believe Satan is a light worker? Kali Ma is a light worker? Satan and Kali Ma and Lucifer and the devil are light workers. How is that possible? Kali Ma showed me that her purpose, or the satanic purpose, I don't like to call it satanic because that's kind of ritualistic and I don't want to go there. The concept of Satan, okay, is a light worker in that it is to break down. It's to break down the soul. It's to break souls through illusion, through fear, through suffering, and through these experiences over the course of lifetimes. The soul can conquer its fears. The soul now can conquer itself and become strong in the face of fear. In the face of Satan and Kali Ma, become strong. But that strength can find weakness and vulnerability once more. So Kali Ma, as the light worker, comes in and breaks you down again until you become strong and conquer it. And now you're even stronger than you've ever been in all these other times. How many times in your life have you been broken down, overcome it, felt strong again, and then got broken down again? Overcame it, got strong again, and then you got broken down again? That was Kali Ma the whole time. The light worker that is teaching you more about love. That is teaching you how to become a stronger soul. And Kali Ma said that souls, it's hard to come here. It's hard to work with the Kali Ma energy. It's hard because it is so destructive. And you have to be broken down when you are here. You're going to be broken down. That's what she does. She's going to break you. Only to help you become stronger. And that's her light worker purpose. So when are we as a human race going to just say enough? I'm tired of being broken down. I'm tired of it, but I will still have to work through being broken down as I go through the process of being human here. And the human race goes through the process of choosing a heavenly experience. Then we can go beyond this universe to a whole new universe of consciousness. And we can still be on planet Earth if we want to be. Or we could build some spaceships and go to other planets if we want to, as a collective. A lot of the human race is a collective choice, but the collective choice starts with you. So that's all I want to share for this video, and I want to thank you for joining me. And I want to thank you for getting to the end of this message and for taking the time to explore what it means to you. So in saying all of that, I am a psychic and spiritual healer, and if any of you would like me to explore your spiritual atmosphere, do energy work to bring you into balance, to explore your soul's purpose, connect you with higher consciousness, share messages of any and all kinds, I would love to visit with you. Come check me out at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. I hope you all have an awesome day.